Hello, everyone, and welcome to another edition of the Discover New Music podcast from Pelt Music, where we put the focus on some of the great young bands that we have featured on our Discover New Music playlist over on Spotify. Shortly, we'll be joined by Youth Illusion, whose song Help Me to Believe we recently featured. But before then, just the usual reminders from myself to please do hit that subscribe button, hit that like button wherever you're watching, be it YouTube, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Anchor, wherever you're listening or watching. And also, to stay up to date with the latest from Pelt Music, please do follow us on social media. We are on Facebook at Full Pelt, and we are on Twitter and Instagram at Full Pelt Music. So we are joined today by Zach and Rory from Youth Illusion. Welcome, gentlemen, to the Discover New Music podcast.
Thank you.
Absolute pleasure to have you on. We're going to talk to you a little bit about Help Me to Believe, which we've added to our Discover New Music playlist. But before we get to that, we start off every edition of our Discover New Music podcast with a simple question. What can you tell us about the formation of the band? We call it our origin story. So what is the origin story of Youth Illusion?
The story starts off weird. We met online.
I've been managing bands for a while, and I decided I wanted to put one together and actually start playing just for fun.
Yeah.
So I put an ad up on Gumtree, and that doesn't bode well when you're advertising yourself on Gumtree. Band responds. But so Zach responded, and he sent a couple of videos from a previous band and a couple of demos that he'd been working on. One turned out to be actually Enemy, and the other one turned out to be, well, rewritten as Cover Up and Die. But anyway, so it took quite a while. He's pretty shitty at responding to messages, so I thought like he'd heard my demos and thought, fuck this dude. But eventually, we managed to get a jam in with our original drummer, and the rest is history.
And here we are. Mateo hit us up about a year and a half later.
Yeah.
And we were like, no chance in hell.
Yeah, so Mateo lives quite far away. He lives about 2 hours away, and he got hold of us probably in the first year of us being a band, and was like, are you looking for a second guitarist? And we're like, no, we wanted to stay at 3-piece. But where are you from, in case we're looking further? And he goes, no, Leamington Spa. So I just stopped responding to it.
Right.
So this dude's crazy. So when I got stuck in South Africa, I was on holiday, about a year later, Matt got to the message first when, Zach got to the message first when Matt sent another message. It was like, yeah, dude, come on, come and play. And he's proven himself. He's the first one there and the last one to leave. Absolutely. Even though he's got the furthest to travel. Well, not anymore, but yeah. So that's the story of Matt joining the band. He got ignored for a year.
And you've recently added Heath, I believe, as well to the lineup.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Heath, our AK-47.
Yeah, absolute machine. Awesome guy as well. We were worried about the age a little bit, but now he's fitted in perfectly.
Excellent. And now, obviously, you've got the core of the group that you're pressing ahead with. Obviously, you've got 2 EPs behind you, and you've just released Help Me to Believe as your latest single. So what can you tell us about the song that obviously we've featured on the playlist? What are the themes behind the song?
This is a funny story. Rory, I'd written this song, but in true Zach fashion, I forgot to tell Rory that I actually wrote the song. And he was, we were writing this EP during coronavirus, like a lot of bands, but the time difference between the UK and South Africa and Italy was just hours apart.
Right.
So I would send. I told.
It's not hours apart.
Is it?
It's like 2 hours apart.
Oh, okay, never mind. America's like hours apart. Anyway. And so I sent this song to Mateo, but I forgot to send it to Rory, and it wasn't until Rory got back. We were running through a list of tracks, like which ones are we going to record? And I said, oh yeah, we forgot Help Me to Believe. And Rory was like, what do you mean? I already believe. I believe in you. That's why I'm here. What are you talking about? And I was like, no, you dickhead. Listen. And then I played it, and he was like, oh yeah, that's definitely a Youth Illusion song.
Matt went crazy for it. It's Matt's favorite by far. So there was a toss-up between the opening single, between that and Brother, because we always knew that Blood on My Hands was going to be the second single.
Yeah.
We wanted to put out something a little bit softer, a little bit more mellow for the first single. And, I've got an idea for the video if we do one for Brother, and it wasn't on the cards at the time. So we let Matt have that one, and we did Help Me to Believe first.
Yeah.
I say we'd let him do it. So you don't win many arguments with Matt. Matt gets what he wants.
Yeah.
And how about the lyrical themes to the song? Yeah, where does that come from?
I wrote this during coronavirus. So in my day job, I work as a paramedic.
Yes.
And I worked throughout the entire COVID pandemic. And I say this, that was like the longest, darkest year of my life. And so I think during those times, as any artist or creative does, they look to grow and create. And so at that point in my life, I was looking for that light at the end of the tunnel. And I was just thinking about all the sort of things I regret and the relationships I had that, went south. And I wrote that song. That song, was the fruition of sort of the hardships I endured. But it was COVID that proved the catalyst. I always say, as a songwriter, we always have ideas and experiences in the back of our head, but something has to happen to,
I think also the title "Help Me to Believe" is a lot better than "Please Get the Fuck Out of COVID." Is this ever going to end?
This next song is called "I Want to Sink Beers with the Boys at the Pub." No, that doesn't bode well for PR.
No, definitely not. Definitely not. But "Help Me to Believe" certainly does, and it's got a really good video behind it as well, which obviously listeners can check out on YouTube. So yeah, where did the video come from, concept-wise?
Trying to find a location in London under a grant.
That's pretty much it. That's pretty much it. We knew it was going to be a performance video. We hopefully something rustic, but there was bounce. What was it? There was a cathedral. There was an abandoned coal mine. Wow. The aesthetic was just as long as it looked. We were all playing separately and it all coming together. There wasn't really. There's no storyline to it, obviously. So when we got the Safe House booked in, we were just like, okay, that's what we're going to have to use. So it wasn't really a heavily thought out plan, as long as the aesthetic was good.
But the Safe House kind of matched the theme because it's dark, it's grungy, and that's where I was.
Everything works out for a reason, obviously. So.
That's where I was in my life whenever I wrote the song. So yeah, it was shout out to Maverick Projects for having us. That was
and Vulcan Media who
Media
shot the video. Dan's a legend.
And Kess Motion for doing the lights. Those boys are amazing.
We're a really good team. People got behind it, and that was cool to see.
Yeah, definitely. It comes across really, really well. Fits the song very well. So listeners, definitely check that out. Have a look on YouTube for that video. And obviously, the song "Help Me to Believe" is going to be featuring on your upcoming second EP that's going to be coming out, which is called "Seeking Answers in Silence." So obviously we've got a taster of it with "Help Me to Believe," but what should fans expect from that EP as a whole?
It's a lot more mature than the first one. I don't think people realize with the first EP that it's been our only reference for the past 2 years, nearly 3 years. That was pretty much written as we recorded it. We were wet behind the ears. There were pretty much only 2 of us in the band when we got that production deal, and we were like, yes, let's get in and record. I only knew how to play 2 songs. I hadn't even heard a couple of them. Blood on My Hands was supposed to be on the first EP, but our original drummer took 4 days making a fool of himself, if that's okay to say. But so this EP, we had time. We got songs on the cutting room floor. We were, a little bit more seasoned in the studio, had a better relationship with our producer, so we could say, no, we don't like that. Where the first EP, we were just kind of like nodding dogs, like, okay, whatever you say. So it's a lot more mature. The themes are better. The whole EP was around breakups and, girls not liking you. This is a lot more.
Girls still don't like this. What do you want about? Yeah,
but we're tired of singing about it. No, this is a bit more existential. So, like Zach said, "Help Me to Believe" is, are we ever going to get out of this pandemic? Blood on My Hands is about, the mental consequences of working as a paramedic. Brother is about suicide and loss of a close friend. So the themes are a lot more mature. And another thing is we all had a part in it. And adding Matt as a guitarist has just, it's completely different to the first EP in that sense.
Yeah, and you guys, I believe, have been sitting on it for quite a while as well. Was it recorded
We hate these
earlier on.
songs now.
The world's worst kept secret. We're tired of playing them.
So obviously, you know, like you've alluded to, obviously the pandemic has hit everyone, but obviously musicians has hit them in a unique way as well. And obviously, what kind of feelings have you guys had? You know, removing obviously all the horrible aspects that we've all dealt with the pandemic. You know, focusing in as musicians. You know, how has it felt? Perhaps having to sit on that music. You know, have you sat there purposely waiting for there to be light at the end of the tunnel?
Definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely.
But we've had time to plan and do it right. And like refine it.
Also, we really wanted to put everything into this release in terms of a PR campaign, advertising campaign. You know, we knew we were going to throw a lot of money at it, but we weren't going to just throw shit at the wall and see what stuck. We were smart, so we've used this time to kind of direct our efforts as much as we can. We've got tours lined up. You know, we played a couple of tours and showcased the songs for the first time. We know the set well now, so once the EP drops and the 2-week tour comes up in May, you know, hopefully it's going to be well polished.
Has it perhaps been hard though to know that that's sitting there and not go back to it and tinker with it? Because obviously you can overproduce things, you know. So you've obviously had to, you know, keep it in that little size.
Zach can't even play the very first song we ever wrote with having a new idea.
Yeah,
right.
It's a not an issue, but it's a pain in this band. It's like, Zach, it's done.
Let's put a cowbell in it.
Yeah.
No, it's done. Like, don't add that extra note. Don't do that slide.
Put a synth. It's 2022, man. Put a synth in it.
Like, this is what we struggle with Zach. So it was nice. It was recorded. It was mixed. It was mastered, and Zach can't fuck with it anymore.
And obviously, you've just said, you know, you managed to get back out. You've already played some shows. You've just finished up a run of shows with a few too many. You know, how was it getting back out on the road after the events of the last couple of years?
That was our second run.
It was our second one.
Yeah.
November was the first one. We were on tour with the Evade Escape. Shout out, Spicy Boys. We got the opportunity to tour with the Few Too Many. And I was having this conversation with Rory like a week ago. The difference in tours, February's tour was a gentle reminder of how logistics and technical issues, how much they can affect the run. It was still a good run. Yeah. But it helped us sort of recenter and refocus our game plan.
Yeah, it brought us down to earth a little bit. You know, a couple of things went wrong, but another thing I'd add is we've been super lucky even before the pandemic. We've every time we're stuck with another band for a few days, they're always really cool people. So you know, the issues that we had over the tour was a lot easier to deal with. We were all in the same boat and we all had a good chuckle about it. You know, again, like we shouted out the Evade Escape, shout out to A Few Too Many.
Shout out.
Great guys, great band as well.
So having had these two runs out, you obviously must be tuning yourselves, obviously getting these issues out of the way. So you must be ready to go for your next run, which, as you mentioned, is coming up in May with Standing Like Statues, isn't it? Across a number of dates, plus some
big
headline shows as well, I believe, for yourselves. So, you know, what should fans expect from these shows from you guys now?
Well, a lot of energy. I mean, the Standing Like Statues has been postponed since the pandemic. That's like a year and a half old.
That's supposed to be in February.
And last year.
And last year.
So when we realized we were going to be out for a week in the middle of summer, like my light bulb went, and I'm just like, boys, it's going to be the middle of summer. We're not doing anything in the north. Let's add a second week on. And we choose the bands, we choose the venues, we do it all on our own. So the first half, we're looking forward to playing with Standing Like Statues. Awesome guys, as far as we can tell.
Great guys.
Up to now.
And girl.
And girl. They can look forward to a polished set, a lot of energy, and the second week run, you can look forward to a lot of partying.
Lots of beer will be consumed.
So we're going to have a band called Big Drink, formerly A New Hope, on the second half of the run, and they played our original EP release show a few years ago.
Fantastic.
And we've stayed in touch with them, and they are probably my favorite unsigned band. So having them on, the way I sold it to them was, let's bro down and have a party for a week in summer and play some shows.
And try not to get arrested.
Yeah.
Well, yeah.
Bring your tattoo guy.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, sounds like a lot of fun. Obviously, listeners, make sure you seek out them dates. Obviously, you want to follow the band on social media for them. And obviously, you guys, you're on Instagram at Youth Illusion Band, Facebook at Youth Illusion Band, and on Twitter at simply just Youth Illusion. So, listeners, obviously, make sure you are checking out the band. So, just one more question for me, taking it back slightly to where we were talking about, having to keep them songs to the side and not touch them. Obviously, you mentioned, honing your craft, honing these songs out on the road. Obviously, songs for me are, a living creature and they can evolve over time. What have you learned about these songs since you've started playing them live?
Nothing is ever the same when you go into the studio. Our producer, James Curtis Thomas, shout out, was really methodical in breaking these songs down. Originally, Blood on My Hands had like a 45-second intro. And all of us were like, yeah, this is sick. And James was like, no.
Cut it. Lost interest already.
No.
Cut it. But no, when you play the songs for so long and you get to know them so well, it opens up other avenues. So what we've done is we started working on our live show. We use a backing track, so we can't just ad-lib it on stage. So we actually think about it. We talk about it when the guys come down and hang out for a weekend. What can we do? And so then we'll break up the backing track and say, okay, well, why don't we add 16 bars in here and Zach can talk shit for a little bit, or Matt can do a solo, or whatever. So I think that is a benefit of knowing the songs backwards. And if I could get through playing Brother without reverting to fucking Help Me to Believe, I'd be very, very happy. You say we've been playing these songs for so long, they must be like second nature.
Yeah.
So I play on 2 different guitars and 2 different tunings, but the root notes is the same. And every single time we play Brother, at least once, I'll end up playing the chorus to Help Me to Believe.
Yeah.
We're going to stage an intervention at some point, but not at this podcast.
So, no, guys, I really appreciate you spending this bit of time with me. Obviously, listeners, make sure you are checking the band out on social media, because obviously there's the tour coming up, and there's also the second single, which you guys have already alluded to. Blood on My Hands is coming out on March 11th, I believe. And
yeah, I think so.
You said it's obviously slightly different in tone to Help Me to Believe. So what should fans expect from that?
It's a bit heavier. So the EP, we want it to be a little bit more user-friendly, a little bit more commercial, but Blood on My Hands has been bouncing around since the band started, and it's such an amazing song.
My mom was like, when are you going to write a country song, maybe? I'm like, no, Mom. I can't do country, but we'll stop screaming so much. She's like, all right. So we try. I love you, Mom.
We try not to swear. Enemy's the only song we're swearing in, but no, Blood on My Hands is heavier. I don't want people to expect like screamo in that, but it's just a bit heavier. It's a little bit more.
You know what's weird is like whenever you start getting nieces and nephews in your life, and like you start launching your band with the effort we've done, the people you wouldn't expect to have an influence on your craft all of a sudden have such a massive stakehold. Like I don't write songs with swearing because I don't want my nieces and nephews to be like, Mom, why is Uncle Z swearing?
Well, I sent my daughter the video.
Cover your ears.
I sent my daughter the video for Blood on My Hands. She says, it's a bit loud.
well, I'm sure you guys are going to be getting plenty of feedback for the EP when it comes out. Hopefully, slightly better than that. But yeah. So no, again, thank you both very much for joining me.
Thank you so much.
Make sure you check the band out. What would be your final message for listeners today?
Just thank you. Like, Help Me to Believe it's coming up to 30,000 views on YouTube, and that just blows our head off. Like, it would help if some of those people went to Spotify as well. But just honestly, just a thank you to everyone. The support has been overwhelming. Thanks to you for having us.
Yeah,
and
thank you so much.
Please keep following. Everyone listening, please keep following. Like our pages, watch our videos, and it means a lot.
Come to a show as well.
Come to a show.
Definitely. Yeah. Echo that, guys. Get on one of these shows. Follow them on social media. Thank you guys for joining us.
Thank you so much. Thanks for having us. Take care.
Well, I really hope you enjoyed that chat there with Youth Illusion. Be sure to check out their single Help Me to Believe on our Discover New Music playlist over on Spotify. Make sure you follow them on social media, and if you can, head along to one of their shows. Now, you can also follow us on social media. We're on Facebook at Full Pelt and on Twitter and Instagram at Full Pelt Music. And hit that subscribe button if you can. Hit that like button wherever you're watching, wherever you're listening. We'll be back very soon with another edition of the Discover New Music podcast from Full Pelt Music.